Welcome back to Low Stress Math with Mrs. Bono. We are still in Chapter 1, Exponents. This is Lesson 8, Independent Practice of the Zero Exponent. Listen, if you did not do these problems, turn off the video and try them. The only way to learn math is to do math. Look back at your notes and do the problems. If you did do them, woo! Let's get over and just do this. Oh, and by the way, if my videos aren't good for you, up in this corner, just use that to go to a different person teaching it, because sometimes you just need somebody else's perspective. Okay, let's get started with these few problems. All right, that first problem, I'm going to make it a little bigger so you can see it better. There's parentheses around this -4. That means this whole thing, -4, is the base. And when -4 is the base and the exponent is 0, the answer is 1. Okay? Because what this really means is basically -4 divided by -4. And negative divided by negative is +1. Now, for this one, that's different. That is really -1 times 3 to the 0 power. So it's -1, gotta move that over a little, times, well, 3 to the 0 power is 1. So -1 times 1, -1. And that's the difference between whether you have parentheses or you don't have parentheses. With parentheses, it's +1. Without parentheses, it's -1. All right, so this next problem, in parentheses, 1/2 to the 0 power. Anything to the 0 power is 1, as long as there's parentheses around the base. So let's take a look at this one. X to the 6th divided by x to the 6th. Well, any number divided by itself is 1. And there's two different ways you could do that. You could subtract the exponents and get x, 6 minus 6, and get x to the 0 power, which of course you know is 1. Or you could just say any number divided by itself is 1. Either way, answer is 1. Now it gets more interesting. So down here, there's more than one way to solve these problems. So for this first problem, I am going to use the product rule of exponents. And the product rule says keep the base and add the exponents. 3 plus 0 is 3. Now you could have done it like this. You could have said 8 to the 3rd power times 8 to the 0 power. Well, 8 to the 3rd power times 1, still 8 to the 3rd power. Either way, you get 8 to the 3rd power. This one's a little bit different. I have two different powers here. And remember, when you have the top of a parenthesis, the top of a fraction, it's kind of like invisible parentheses. So you have to do the top first. 7 to the 4th times 7 to the 5th. Well, that is the product rule of exponents. 7, and I'm going to add 4 plus 5, and I get 7 to the 9th power. But look at this. I didn't do anything with the bottom yet. So 7 to the 9th divided by 7 to the 9th. Now I can use, the quotient rule, which is keep the base, subtract the exponent. 7 to the 9 minus 9. Wait a second. That's 7 to the 0 power, which is 1. Or I could have gotten to this point and said, oh, a number divided by itself, that's 1. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here that I did for the first problem. I'm going to keep the parentheses and round the negative 1/3, and I'm going to add 4 plus 0. 4 plus 0, 1/3 to the 4th power. Sorry, negative 1/3 to the 4th power. You know, I probably should solve these, shouldn't I? Because it says evaluate if possible. And I did not evaluate the 5th or the 7th problem. Darn it, Bono, get it together. So this, 1/3 to the 4th power. 1/3 negative times negative 1/3 times negative 1/3 times negative 1/3. And when you're doing fractions, you go straight across the top and straight across the bottom. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. I'll write that in blue so you can see it better. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Times negative 3 is negative 27. Times negative 3 is positive 81. So I end up with 180 over 81. So negative 1/3 to the 4th power is 1 over 81. Oh, well, I could have used a calculator to do that, but I can math okay-ish. I am, however, going to grab my calculator for this one, because that is 8 times 8 times 8, which, yeah, I don't remember that. 8 times 8 is 64 times 8 is a big number. So 8 to the 3rd power. I put it into my calculator as an exponent, and I get 512. Okie dokie doodle, 512. So, exponentially, 8 to the 3rd power, evaluate 512. Down here, look, this whole thing, and it doesn't matter what it is, whatever's inside the parentheses, it's a power to a power, so I can use the power rule, and I can multiply negative 3 times 0. So I would have 9 to the negative 3rd times 0. And that whole thing is power, the product rule, 5 squared. So negative 3 times 0, 9 to the 0 power times 5 squared. 9 to the 0 power, that's 1. 1 times 5 squared. Well, 5 squared is 25, so 1 times 25, 1 times 25 is just 25. There you go. Exponentially, it would be 5 squared, but evaluated, 25. Wow, there's a whole bunch of math going on here. So, this first problem, remember, no parentheses, it's negative 1 times 3 squared, 3 to the 0 power, plus 4 to the 0 power, Bono, plus 2 plus 10 to the 0 power. All right, so I'm going to change all those 0 powers to 1. So now I have negative 1 times 1, 4 to the 0 power, 1, plus 2 plus 10 to the 0 power, 1. Multiply first, negative times positive, negative 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 10. Uh-oh. Oh, no, plus 1. What did I do? Look at me, not really reading. That was so bona fide. Here we go. All right. Wait a second. Negative 1 and positive 1, that becomes 0. 2 plus 1, 3. A lot of math going on there today. All right. So, not too hard. Took me what? Not even 10 minutes? Should have taken you less than 15. I'll talk to you soon.